I'm just going to tell you a little bit about TSYS, who we are, and then, as Bernard says, what we're trying to do with Paynet, with the implementation of this Prime platform. So TSYS is today one of the world's biggest processors. We process, to give you some numbers, about 40 million transactions a day. We will touch 40 million transactions. In dollar terms, that's about US dollar 2 trillion a year goes through our systems around the world. And we have about 9,000 people spread all over the world supporting banks running payments in various countries at various levels to varying degrees. Another way of looking at it is probably 1 in every 4 transactions that flies through the US will touch us at some point. We offer services in US, Latin America, South America, Europe, Middle East, Russia, Africa, Japan, China, everywhere. So we're very, very intimately involved in the payment scheme. And what we do is we do 2 things. We are a processor in our own right, and we include people like Bank of America and Royal Bank of Scotland and people like that on our books. And we also, for the emerging markets, offer licensed solutions to banks. And some of you are our clients here today in Kenya, for example. In fact, we were one of the first card systems that was indigenously raised in Kenya for the Kenyan markets back in 1995. So we are very, very actively involved also in the licensing space to make sure banks are empowered. And the thing we're doing with Paynet is we're trying to make the best of both worlds. We're putting in the processing capability and technology and functionality that we make available to the international banking networks, and we're making it available for those banks in the African region that Paynet can reach directly. And this relationship goes back more than 10 years. We've been working with Paynet for quite some time. And this is really the next evolution of that. And by putting in our Prime 4 platform, what we're doing is we are further empowering features like the ability to do chip, the ability to support multiple payment schemes. So today you're all intimately involved in Visa or MasterCard or both in some cases. But there is also China Union Pay, there's JCB, there's Diners Club, there's a range of additional payment schemes which we will now have access to implement as and when required in the region. EMV is another one, and the thing that will come after that will be contactless technologies, and then we're going to have mobile technologies way over and above anything you see today in the M-Pesa world. So there's a lot of things that are lined up from an empowerment point of view that we will make available to the Kenyan especially market, as well as Pan-African for those that want to go that way. Which brings us to the next major asset that we're bringing to the table. You saw in Bernard's slide some of the clients are in Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda. The inherent ability to multi-currency, multi-country passport, your platform and your technology is built into what we're setting up. So those of you that have aspirations to go outside of Kenya, which by the way you all should, because honestly I go all over the world, and throughout Africa Kenya is seen as the shining example of African banking outside of South Africa. You should hear the Nigerian conferences. It's all Kenya this, Kenya that. What would Kenya do? How did Kenya do it? So you guys are in a very lucky position in that you are thought leaders amongst the African space. And what we're trying to do is make sure that you're empowered from a technology point of view through Paynet, through the systems we're putting in, so that you can deliver that functionality to your customers. Remember, what you're aiming for at the end of the day is to be able to target individual customers to service what they want to do. That's how you become front of wallet. That's how you get customers to do your card as opposed to someone else's card. So I urge you to explore with Paynet the things you can do if you're interested to take it further. Chip is absolutely vital. I can't begin to tell you the amount of fraud reductions that happen. One of our lucky things that we have is, as we monitor a sort of global view, we can see what happens when people implement certain things. Wherever we've seen chip implemented as a country strategy, you see the fraud moving out of that country and simply going to neighboring countries where they don't have it. just like an alarm in your house. If a fraudster sees that you've got one, whether it's working or not is irrelevant, that you've got one will make them think, well, if next door doesn't have one, it's easier to just go there. And unfortunately, fraud is all about making sure it's not you they're picking on. So chip is absolutely vital in the efforts to try and reduce fraud, both internal and external, but also to stop you from suffering some of the big losses that you see in magstripe fraud around the world. So I'm not going to spend too long talking about us, because I know this is very much your breakfast meeting, but that's who we are. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask. Thank you.